Thanks, Sean. Hi, Dave.
Morning. Afternoon, I
Yessi,
guess.
yeah, good to see you. Yessi Pugliarvi. I'm wondering how you would compare his use of his size and his use of body position now as compared to early in the season.
I think he's getting more and more used to the North American game where he's, like you look, he's probably our most consistent guy getting to the front of the net, creating battles in front of the net. I think, he played on the big ice for the last couple of years or last year. You get back here, things happen a lot quicker. There's less space, and you got to battle for space more. And so I think it's he's gone through the process of just figuring out where the space on the ice is, and he's willing to battle for space, which is a big factor in him coming in and playing well for us.
All right. And last year, obviously, the penalty kill was exceptional. It's 23rd in the NHL as of today. What do you need to do, either personnel-wise or performance-wise, for it to improve?
Well, we've had some, we've had some stretches where it's got it going pretty good, and then early on in the year we were struggling a little bit. So it's been back and forth a little bit. We've tried some different personnel on it. A lot of the tactical stuff that we're doing is very similar to last year, but haven't had the same results of keeping the puck out of our net. One of the big factors is we're letting too much go through the seams in the seam of the box, and that was an area where we were pretty strong last year, and we haven't done as good a job this year. So that's an area we have to clean up.
Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Hey, Dave. You had Connor and Leon at practice together again today. I'm not sure if it's your plan to use them or not, but can you just discuss, when you play them together, what they have the potential to give you, but what you need from everybody else when you do that, and kind of the give and take of that decision?
Well, it's a give and take of the balance throughout your lineup. Like both Connor and Leon, they're players that can drive their own line, but when you put two of them together, they're an awful powerful force too. So we just have to make sure we're using it at the right times. And, our game, in first period, Calgary came out jumping. We just felt like we had to tweak something to see if we can put the game back in our favor. And we put them together yesterday, and they played really well. So we practiced them today. We'll see how things go tomorrow, and see how we're looking against Ottawa and matchups and such that we look at, and we'll see if they play tomorrow. But they've played enough together where they know how to play well together, but they also know that for our team to be the best it can be, they might have to play a part.
And how key is, I know everybody is critical, but you have a guy you can move to your second line center position in Nugent Hopkins, and he's a guy that has held down that position before. How key is he in continuing to give you that option to go with Leon and Connor together if you want to?
Well, what becomes key is you have to have some balanced scoring. So you need more than one line that is a threat to score. So if Nuge goes down to that second line, today we had him with Ennis and Pugliarvi, they have to be a threat to score. And we expect everybody to defend well. I mean, without the puck, you have to play a certain way, but when you have the puck, there's players that are put in positions to make plays, whether it be the power play or 5-on-5. We need some other scoring other than one line. So there's a pressure or an expectation that it's Nuge and Ennis and Pugliarvi. They've got to create some chances and find some opportunities for offense as well as play good defense. And the same thing goes for your bottom two lines. If they can chip in a goal here and there, it's a huge help to our team, huge help, and goes along with the defending and penalty killing and everything that has to take place. So it's that balance that you're looking for in your lineup to help you win games. And over the long run, having a lineup that can chip in goals all through it gives you a much better chance to win.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hey, Dave, you got another 3-game series coming up here. Can you take anything from the last 3-game series you played? Do you have anything that you can kind of learn from that one and move on to this one?
Yeah, play better. Play better in all 3 games. Let's start with that, and then we'll figure out the rest as we go. But no, it's been unique. I've liked this series, as the 2-game series. We've only had the 1-3, but it has a little bit of a playoff feel to it, and so hopefully our players recognize that. These are 3 real important games before we head out on the road. So you got to take them one at a time, but you recognize you got the same team 3 times in a row. So there's some factors that come into play with it.
How does that help with planning and game planning? And obviously, you only have to prepare for the one team, and you're going to play them 3 times. Like, is it a sense that teams are really prepared to play you now, as opposed to before, when they didn't have much time and much tape to look up?
Like I say, it's more like a playoff series where you're dug into. You're really focused on the one team, and in a normal season, one night you're playing in LA, the next night you got to focus on. 12 hours later, you got to deal with Anaheim or something. So your focus doesn't really tend to stay in that one spot. But when you're playing a team over and over again a few times, it's you're really dug into that one team. You're dug into tactics, little tactics that you want to switch from game to game, special teams, face-off stuff that you look at from game to game. So it's definitely more of a playoff feel than it would be a normal regular season.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
A couple of things, Dave. How do you decide if you're going to put Leon and Connor together? How do you decide who plays the right wing? Yamamoto's a smaller player playing with a big center in Leon, and Puljujärvi is a big center, a big winger, maybe playing with Nugent Hopkins. Does that have anything to do with it, as opposed to having, say, Yamamoto, who's small, and Ennis is small, playing with Nugent Hopkins?
No, it's feel of what you're looking for, chemistry on the line, just to feel what you think might work the best. And there's certain attributes that players bring, not just size, but whether they're puck control people or people good on the forecheck or getting to the net, whatever it may be. You're just looking for a chemistry, a synergy between the 3 players. Normally you're talking about 2 players, but when you add the 3rd one in, if you can get real good synergy there, you can usually find a good line. So we'll tinker around a little bit, but last night Yama was good there, so we left him there today.
Okay, and Chris Russell, everybody's making a big deal. He got 2 points last night. He was an offensive defenseman once upon a time. So is that just gravy if Chris gets 2 points from your standpoint?
Yeah, the one I liked that he changed the angle. Instead of just trying to throw it at the net, he had to get it around the top guy at the blue line. He changed the angle and got it to the net, which is a big factor. Too many times we've got shots blocked from there, so he made a good play there. The other one was just a simple breakout pass out of our zone, and Yamamoto and Connor did the rest there. So he's a good veteran player. It's funny you say that too. I remember I was in Dallas a long time ago. We were sitting in some draft meetings, and his name was talked about before he was drafted as a real good offensive defenseman from the Western League, and not a big guy, but played great puck skills and everything. I remember that conversation about him vividly. So he's come a long way. Now he's a shot blocker. I guess that's what happens to all good offensive players. They turn into shot blockers.
Jack Michael, 630 Chad.
Dave, I know you've talked about, ultimately as a head coach, you love it when kind of the players take ownership of the game. You made some changes, but then kind of your leaders, Nurse and Neal, step up. Smith gives you some saves, and McDavid and Draisaitl kind of take the game over in the 3rd. Is it gratifying when you see that kind of play out in front of your eyes, where it's not necessarily you imploring them, but the players taking ownership of it?
Well, that's your top players have the biggest chance to have an impact on a game. And sometimes, you say top players, not just top scorers. It can be your goaltender. It can be a veteran player. They can have, they have times in the game where they can have a big impact. And that's what happened last night. Like, Schmidt had to stay real strong for us in the first period. They were throwing a lot of pucks at the net. We knew they were going to play with lots of energy early on. We weren't giving up a ton of scoring chances, but just a lot of stuff coming at the net. The second, or then we had Nurse and Neal. We knew it was going to be a hard-fought game. Those guys stepped up, and then Connor and Leon got it going in the 3rd, and and we were able to pull a win out. So you're looking for players throughout your lineup to help your team win, and we had different players do that last night. It's good that's your veteran players because it goes a long way in the leadership of the room.
On the specific subject of Nurse and Lucic, I mean, we know Darnell's a tough guy, and we know you were part of a group in Hartford that wasn't afraid to mix it up. Is there any guy that you played against where maybe you would try to defer to someone else and let someone else take that battle?
Back in those days, there was a lot of guys I was deferring to. You had guys like Cam Neely and Willie Platt, and I think there was Semenk. Finally, Semenk got traded to Hartford. I was glad when that happened. But no, it was a different era then.
Jim Matheson.
Tyler Ennis didn't play last game, but today he's on the line with Nugent Hopkins. Is that because he's played well against Ottawa this season, and he did score against Ottawa in a game this year?
No, it's more about trying to find that synergy or cohesion on the line.
And Archibald, he didn't practice. Can we assume that he's not playing tomorrow?
He's day to day. He's not ruled out tomorrow.